Hello and welcome back to Craft Arcanum episode number 3. I'm Moratue and I have found some more chocobos. Specifically, we're looking for this guy right here. Liberty that we have back at the house is a very lovely young female chocobo, but we need this guy right here with all the colorful doodads in his head. That marks him as a male. He's trying to attract his mate with a colorful display of feathers, right? Oh, and I've gotten a lot more work done on my little house here. Check this out. It's got a roof. It's got a really big roof, but it's got a roof. We're actually going to be making use of some of this open space, probably on the other side over the water, but we'll be making use of some of that open space with what we're going to do today. First things first, though, I want to get these two acquainted. All right, so you stay there, unnamed chocobo number 5. First of all, let's go ahead and sleep the night away. I don't want to be attacked while doing this. All right. So what I would like to get is I'm going to go ahead and put away the greens we have here, and we're going to get the lovely greens. Let's see. Do we also have the Chocopede? Oh, it's on me. 'Tis on me. Let's find out what this guy's name is. Allergies are terrible. All right. Horsebird, really? That is literally what the chocobo is. It's a horsebird. So the other one's Liberty, right? I'll think of a name to go with Liberty. I don't know what I'm going to do right now, though. We'll show names for now, though. Okay, so you Horsebird, right? Take that, and you take that Liberty. You make it a baby? Make it a baby, please. So what should happen is these two should make... Look, they made the... Look at that little chocobo. Made a little blue guy here, so that's neat. The blue guys, as far as I know, they can actually walk on water, I think. So we definitely have to try that. I think you can make those guys grow up by making a cake. It's a geshell cake something. Giselle. I have no eggs, so I can't make that. But I think you can feed that to the little guys and it makes them grow up. But for now, we'll just wait. And then once it becomes a nice, really big, strong little chocobo, we will not put him in there because if he gets stuck inside of here, he's not getting out. Oh, too late. Sorry, little guy. I also found this little crystal here. This is from Deep Resonance. I actually found it on the forest of the magical biome over there. And this is actually used to generate power. It's pretty neat. See, strength is 0.71%, efficiency is 0.91%, and purity is 5.5%, so it's actually a pretty dull crystal. But it is the first one I've ever found, and it looks really neat. Alright, let's go ahead and put some of the stuff away. For now, and ignore the chests. They look terrible, I know it. Oh, let's open that. Let's put that away. Was that an ignoble princess? Yes, it was. That's unfortunate. I really don't need to worry about the ignoble stuff, considering the way that I have this pack set up. I don't have binnies or any of the genetics mods, so I'm really not going to be hitting some of the drawbacks you normally would. There we go. This is just like a little under layer to hide the floor from that floor up above there. Alright, so what we are going to do, we're going to go ahead, we're going to take this box right here. There we go. And I also need to get some materials to use as a floor, or at least a temporary work thing. You know, if I had the iron, what I'd really like to make is some scaffolding. Builder scaffold. So 5 makes 16 of those, 4 goes in each of those. So it's essentially 1 to 1. So 5 iron makes 16 scaffold. It's tempting, but for now I'll hold off. I'll just use wood because I'm going to need to come back through what I'm doing right now and fix some stuff up. Let's see. I want to avoid using spruce, but I really don't have a choice. No, I don't want to use those. Let's just get the spruce for now. The reason I want to avoid the spruce is if you notice my roof is spruce. I have the floor here spruce, and the outdoor stuff here is spruce. I need to get rid of some of that spruce. It's a little bit spruce crazy. What I've also done is if you check out here, instead of doing this as a pure storage thing, I'm still going to put some stuff in here like this, but it's also acting as a staircase. It was the best bet that I could think of, and now we have access to this big room right here. And there's going to be another floor that's going to take place in most of the up top area here. And that's where we're going to be dealing with most of today. We're going to be up this way. For now, let's go ahead and just make ourselves a little uneventful staircase. Alright, now the only thing I need to figure out is how much space I actually need. We need to be dead centered, which we are. That's good. We're going to go up. Let's see. We're up probably about like right there. And then we're out. Are we out? We're out. So if we go ahead and put this thing in, well, before I get too crazy, too carried away, can I put this down like right off the side of this? All right, so what I have in here, I've made some stuff in preparation for today's episode. We have a kinetic dynamo. We have a windmill. We have a bunch of LV wire coils and some connectors, various things. I've also made myself a capacitor, an external heater, and some furnaces, as well as some hoppers and some hopper ducts. And this stuff here is for the rest of the episode. We're going to go ahead and set up a basic area for crops using some AgriCraft and a Railcraft water generation system from a water tank. They don't make a lot, but they're more than enough for crops. I also have the windmill blades set aside and some steel to make the improved windmill. I just need to actually get some hemp to do that, and that's partly where this comes into play. I've been growing the greens, the geisel greens over there, and they're currently up to, I think, a stat of about 777 average, so it's pretty nice. I'm getting a lot of those lovely greens instead of just the regular ones. Let's see. I want to go up one more. Yeah. So if we put this here, there shouldn't be any obstructions. It needs to be out one more. So the block would go here, and then beyond that would go the actual windmill. That's sticking out a really far away. That really is. I don't know. Let's see. This is what you get for doing this part live, unrehearsed. Let's try lowering it one. There we go. Oh yeah, that's awesome. That is exactly what I wanted. Okay. I always forget how massive these freaking wind blades are. Alright, we are munching on whale steaks, by the way. Every time I've seen a whale spawn down here, I've been running down to kill it really quickly. Just because they are such a great source of food. Alright. So we can't see the windmill from over here, but we'll be able to go across the lake to see it. Oh, just getting the glimpses of that from this side is making me excited. That's awesome. This only exits power at the top, right? Yes, okay. So power only comes out the top. We can deal with that. We can deal with that. We're going to have power come in here, right? Let's see. Do we want power to like go to the roof and then come down? It'd be kind of overly drawn out, but I think that might be kind of neat. So we're going to go from there to that coil, but we can't do that. So we're going to do that. We're going to break this block so it's no longer obstructed and then do it. There we go. The only thing I worry about is if I put a wall here, I think that'll like clip and then suddenly that's not going to be a valid connection. but we should be okay. Basically what I'm planning, right, is I want to have a third floor up here, and my third floor is going to be my main kind of little workshop tinkering area. We'll have access to this big view of the windmill. You know what? I should do a window up here. I should be able to see this thing, because this is just fantastic. Yeah, I've definitely got to be able to see that. I need to make glass. I need to make loads and loads of glass. So we can have like a little wall thing and like a glass thing around the center of this. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that idea very, very much. In general, though, so that seems pretty good. Let's see, those are 3 high, then the 4 of the beams. If we do a half thing like we did on the other floor, that leave a block here for the floor. So calling it even, that gives us like a little storage area here. This is the main platform, so that should be okay. So let's just go ahead and get like a temporary flooring material. I'll probably change this out forever to whatever I use for the rest of the floor. But for now, this gives me something to work with. You know what, actually, here's a good question. Do capacitors remember how they were originally set to extract? Because that is set to input. Okay, that's input. It's blue. So if I put that there, is that going to... Okay. And then I can put the export to that side, so I don't have to worry about getting any kind of fancy schmancy little wire curving up, clipping into the wall, so that should be okay. I just smack one of those guys right there. Oh, this is exactly everything I wanted. Alright, now given this is a regular windmill, it's not going to make too terribly much power. This should be more than enough for what I need at the moment. I'll be able to have this charging up and then do its thing whenever it needs to do. Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. I'm a tad bit excited right now, I'm sorry. Let's see, we're going to have some furnaces. Let's go ahead and do these guys right here. So this is an external heater. It's going to have an input on the top. Top sides. Can't have it on the top, it looks like. You know what? It wouldn't matter if it's on the top. You know why? Because the wire couldn't reach that. Unless it was away from the wall one, which I could do. Yeah, that would work. Because before the wire would try to curve in, right? And it would clip on the underside of that stair. Alright, so that should be good. Wonder if this thing hurts you if you touch it. No, okay. We're going to do furnace and furnace. Now, if this works the way I think it should work, can these guys be smelted to anything? Yes, smelted to a gold nugget. Let's see if this goes through. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Now, I am using up more power than I'm actually creating right now, so this lets me run stuff in small runs, because I have nothing stored at the moment. I definitely need to get the advanced windmill. I'll end up with twice the power generation I have right now. But this is free power, which is good power. Alright, so the only other thing that we're really missing from this, right? We need a way to collect all the items automatically, which is where these guys come in. Alright, first step, let's go ahead and make ourselves a crafting bench for up here. We'll go ahead and put this into the wall, like, over here, so we'll have, like, some machines and stuff over here. I wish that was back a little bit more, I really do. We'll deal with it. It's not a deal breaker. But we're going to have that there. We're going to go ahead and have some chest right here. Actually, this might work. If I have items going into the back of this, I think it'll actually be going into the fuel slot, right? Let's check this out. Yeah, it's not going in because it would be going to the fuel slot. Okay, change plans. And yes, I am using a hopper. We are going with the original plan. We're just going to power coming in the face. It is not the most elegant looking solution, but I think it's probably the best bet. So bam, bam, power on the face. That should update in a second to show that it is a input, maybe. Maybe not. Okay, there it goes. Whenever you do the change, it doesn't actually update the block, so then it waits for the next time that block gets validated before it actually reflects the change. Alright, so now these should still be heated, right? This way it's also back and a little bit more flush, so that's nice. We're going to go ahead and have a chest right here. We're going to have a hopper duct running into that chest. And then these hoppers are going to be going into that duct. And this is just basically going to force anything that comes through here. It'll end up pooling into this chest. Nice, simple, easy stuff. Let's see. Now for these guys, it's going to be a little bit more complicated because I can't just run a duct directly into this. I'd have to basically push items out to get them in. So for now, we're just going to have item collection, not necessarily insertion. No, I could do that. That would look weird, though. Because I'd have to have, like, a hopper here. No, like an input chest here, because that's a solid block, isn't it? Yeah, it's spruce planks. That wouldn't work. Scratch that idea. That's a bad idea. It's a terrible idea. I could use something on a blue power, though. I could probably use something like a relay and some pipes. You know what? I think I actually have a relay made. Pneumatic tubes. To be or not to be, really? Oh, that just makes me sad hearing that. Alright, so the magic that is a relay, right? It will eject into a system if there is proper inventory spaces for the things to be ejected. The things it does not do is it will not split stacks. So if I put in a stack of 64, it will eject 64. Not necessarily ideal, but it can be made to work. Also, I think these guys with the heaters might actually be able to run both with coal and with the RF heating stuff. Not sure how that quite works, but it's worth an experiment. See, just ejects it right out. Nice, neat, simple. And what I do want to do, though, we're going to go ahead and take some of this stuff. We're going to see if that'll augment the cooking speed. I don't think it'll... I wish it would. I don't think it actually would, though. If it makes any sense. Kind of like a preheater or whatever. Yeah, that's definitely working, though, so that's pretty neat. I like it. I've only said I like it 4 times, so just in case you didn't realize it, but I like it. Pretty fun. Alright, let's go ahead and sleep the night away, and I think we should probably go ahead and get the basis of a greenhouse set up. Alright, so for the greenhouse area, we're going to be doing this a little bit backwards. Rather than building a house and then putting, say, eggs, rather than, say, building a greenhouse and then putting the growing stuff inside of it, I want to plan out, say, about 6 or so growing areas that we can use for our main crops, and then figure out what kind of space we need around it, and then build up that way. For right now, the main thing I want to do is I want to get the pads put into place, as well as the skeleton of the system that will actually water the crops. Not too much required, it's just I want to make sure that we have a good, decent area to work with. We're also going to be going over here in this little swamp area, just because traditionally for... I don't think it actually applies to this, but I know for IC2 crops, like growing in a swamp was probably your best bet. I don't think it applies for agricraft, but I mean, why not? Not to mention, this is a pretty good area. Look how green this grass is. This has got to be good soil, right? So we're going to go with it. We are also going to get rid of some of these trees, so we have a nice little place to work. Alright, so I think probably like right around here is pretty good. I want to avoid having to do too much terraforming, so we'll work with what we can. Anything I do need to edit, I will probably go ahead and dig up or move around later. And I can't wait to see what that looks like from a distance, but we have to... I'm going to wait until the end of the episode to see that. All right. So in general, right, each pad that we're going to do is going to be a 3x3 pad of crops. Figure 9 is just a good number, right? Plus that gives us the initial pad, right? We'll be able to do 1, 2, 3, 4 for the growing thing, so you get maximized results. Nice, simple, easy. Hello, sheepy. Go away. Let's see. I don't want to do just one space because it gets kind of cramped, so we'll do 2. Right? And I think what we'll do to help prevent spawns in here and not going crazy with torches, I'll do half slab floors so that you're almost at ground level, but not quite. So that should be pretty nice. And then we'll come back and we'll do another 3x3. Now, the only thing that we need to keep in mind whenever we do this is there is a set range on the sprinklers that we have, so we can't go too terribly crazy on spacing. Normally, if I do a single space here and then have like a 7x7 area and put the sprinkler dead center, I believe it'll hit everything. So, I mean, should be fine. If I wanted to get from here, this would get from 3, then it would get to this row. This row right here would not be hit with a sprinkler. That's okay. What I can do is I can probably split the difference, and this area would have a little bit of overlap, but it should be okay. So basically we'd have like a sprinkler up here and a sprinkler up. Let's see, that's right there. It's a little bit wasteful of resources, but I think should be okay. 2, that should be of height. That should be okay. And then basically we can repeat the same kind of layout over on this side. I have 2 sprinklers for now, so we're just going to set up the one side. I do have some channels. I have a lot of tanks and a water tank from Railcraft. We got to do this. We got to do this quickly. Let's see. Bonk, you will not connect that way. That's good to know. Let's go ahead and get that up one more. Do not recommend using these tanks as a stepping stool, but push comes to shove, it can work. Oh, that's whale meat. That does not make a good axe. Alright. I have a shovel, right? Alright, so this gives us the middle point. It's going to be like right here. Go away, guy. I'm busy. You know, I kind of want a shovel that does extra damage to the undead. I think that would be thematically appropriate. So kind of like that, and then from there the water would sprinkle out onto the unsuspecting crops. Considering this is like the butt end of like a lava thing or whatever, I think that would be a good place to have the back end of this. So we're going to come this way. And then we're going to fail by trying to sneak off this side of a non-solid block. We're not going to tell anybody about that though, please. Alright, so we're going to have here, let's go ahead and say that the wall for this place, right, is going to be roughly 2 off at least, so we should have an end of this. We have some kind of storage to set up as, right? So let's call like right here the back end. We'll call that the back end. That gives us a little bit of room to have some storage on the outer wall, and then this pipe can still come on through. Alright, and I think you can mix 4 of these together to make a solid block version, so that you can pipe it through without having it look like it's a actual pipe. Yeah, okay, so good. That definitely solves the lack of multi-parts. So the question I'm going to have is, do I actually need to set up a Agricraft tank? Because if I don't have to, I'd rather not. I know Railcraft tanks will auto-output to an adjacent tank, so this should count, right? So it should be good. What we're going to do, though, we're going to go ahead and set this up. These guys get set up as a... Doesn't look like it. Gets set up as a 3x3x3 that's hollow in the center. Let's see. Bam. Build up or build down. Let us split the difference. We'll give this thing legs later. Why does that break with a pick? That should definitely be an axe. Alright, so that did form, right? It will not, however, connect to that, which is unfortunate. Let's see. Let us see. So that went across, it won't go down. If I put one of these under here, will that fill with water? No. Okay. If I put the block version under here, where's the block version? I should have had some... Okay, it only made one. Let's put the block version under here. Does it connect? No, it does not connect. Okay. So we need at least one wooden water tank, it looks like. Because that does connect. Okay, so that works. The only problem is that means that this thing needs to be up even freaking higher. But that's okay. We can work with this. So that top row here actually has to be the very bottom. Because what we can then do is have the tank here, right? And then just come boop to the side. I think by default you can, I don't actually know if it's by default. I know one of the config settings you can do for AgroCraft actually lets you just put infinite water sources above the tanks, and it will actively collect the fluids as they fall. I'd rather avoid doing that because it is kind of cheap for what it offers, and it's not really... Because really right now the only cost I have to doing this is that it takes up space, right? And this is a fresh brand new world. Space is not an issue at all. Plus, I am always looking for a good reason to use some Railcraft stuff. It's one of those mods that I really like that I don't use nearly enough for what it offers. And I feel kind of bad about that, to be honest. Alright. Are you pushing out? You're not pushing out. Are you only going to push down? No, you don't push down. Alright, so out of nowhere it just decided to work. I'm not quite sure what was up with that, but it's working now. It's working now. I'm happy. We're going to go with it. See, there's a bit of wasted space here. These guys could probably hit a much larger area. I mean, to be honest, let's see. This is 3x3. This is like a 9x9, right? I could probably have them here, but I mean, I would end up like a row over here missing, so this is probably the best bet for like the non-standard sizes. But we can work with that. I think one of the first crops we're going to get down here that we're going to be growing any real quantity of is probably going to be industrial hemp. We'll also move our Giselle greens down here so that we can get them growing pretty nice. I need to make a lot of glass. This is, of course, going to be a greenhouse, so that means we need to be able to see the sky and see outside and stuff. So I got to smell up a lot of that stuff. I've smelted a lot of glass in my day. Ha. It is even less funny as I say it slowly. Anyway, let's go ahead and check out the windmill here. I gotta be honest, I really like the look of that. I do need to get that wall filled in so you can't see the internals of the roof there, right? But the way that that looks, and just imagine if there's a window in this little area like right here, I think it'll look really neat being able to see the blades of the windmill go by, even if you don't need it for power, because let's be honest, that is a really tiny amount of power that it's generating. It still looks awesome, and I think it would be a nice addition. The only other thing I'm thinking would be really neat to do is, you see how this little porch ends right here? I was kind of thinking about having kind of like a staircase that goes down to water level, and then having like a little dock or boat area or whatever. Kind of like have that here, then have like a ferry that goes across, or have a ferry guide rope that goes across, and probably same to like over here. And what I could do is use the sky hook from Immersive Engineering to actually ride across the water. Be pretty neat. And then we can be able to access the greenhouse over there once we get all of the glass and stuff I need smelted up. Unfortunately, that is going to be for another episode. I want to thank you all for stopping by for this episode of Craft Arcanum. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a message in the section below, and I will see you next time. Wait, don't leave quite yet. It looks like our little blue chocobo has grown up to be a fine young lass. Say hello to Heidi. Hello, Heidi. We gotta test this out. Now, I believe the blue ones here, they have the special ability for going on water. And as it so happens to be, we are by a lake, right? Gotta be kind of careful, though. These guys, I don't think they have protection from falling, so we gotta be... Oops. She's freaking out. Okay, come on. Let's get you over here to the edge of the water, right? Maybe falling in the water, you don't do your thing properly. How about if you walk on the water? Okay, if we hold space, you're able to do a kind of like a little jump running thing. That's pretty neat. That's useful. That is pretty darn useful. Definitely would make crossing an ocean way easier. It's so much faster than a boat, actually. Yeah, no, I definitely could work with this. I see a bright future in our hands here, Heidi. I just happen to know where there's an ocean we can go exploring. Unfortunately for you, I have to breed your parents and hope that we get a brother for you that you're going to then breed with yourself. Sorry. Check it out, we got another one! Please be male. Please be male. Oh, I have to tame you. I have to tame you. Ah. I intended to end this episode like 5 minutes ago. Alright, so if we tame you... Alright, what are you? Female. Ah! Alright. So the good news is we now have a female green chocobo and a female blue chocobo. So if we get another either blue or green, we're set. It's very lucky because these guys they don't always produce another color. Sometimes they just make yellows. We'll have you stay. I don't want you wandering away. That's neat though. Ah, this is so freaking awesome. Chocobos are the best thing ever.